Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today we are going to do a character guide on Kain. Kain is the first force weapon character in the game. I know I'm a little bit late getting to this one, I was out of town, but I'm going to get this uploaded right away as soon as I'm done. So, Kain is a very, very good starting character for a new era. Now, some people will say that, you don't need Kain, you should wait, get Camlanot or Tidus. They're like really busted when they come out. And I agree with that. They're like way busted and they're better than Kain. For me, the reason why Kain is so valuable is because anytime you're starting in a new era, the difficulty jump is quite high. And having a new character with a new mechanic just greatly helps that. So for me, it was definitely worth it to go in and get him. I actually went all in. My Kain is just maxed out. You can see in the upper left there, I've got full force enhancement, full mastered boards, crystal level, regular level, blue armor. I have his BT green, and I've got a maxed out Ultima weapon on him. My Kain's power level, which is a new feature I was just added, is 9,890. So you know what Vegeta would be saying? It's over 9,000. I know, it's kind of crazy, right? It's over 9,000. We got the power level going. So in this video, guys, I'm going to show off Kain, show you what he can do, and you can decide for yourself if you haven't already pulled. You can decide if you want to pull for him or not. So we're going to take a look at his spheres, his artifacts, and then we'll do a little showcase. So we're going to hop into his artifact passives here. Now for his artifact, he's a pretty basic character. You just want to go attack 108, max brave 330 if you can. So that's pretty much what you want to go with there. And then for spheres, he's just an A and a D character. Basically, Kain, you want to either go range damage, regular attack damage, or brave damage up. Those are very, very good ones. He does do launching, so you could give him spheres that activate on launch. He technically can dodge, so when he jumps up in the air and the enemy attacks his empty space, that's considered a dodge, so you could give him evade spheres. I think Kain's own sphere is probably one of his better ones because it's 15% ranged attack, which is a really fat number. So I think his own sphere is probably one of the best in slot ace spheres you can put on him. For the other ace slot, it's a little bit more open. I personally like Jack's sphere because it does brave damage and attack. So I decided to go with brave damage and attack there in the second ace slot. For the D slot, you just want something that can buff party attack. So Hope and Ash are really good here, though. Hope and Ash are two really generic ones. I happen to have a full Desh one, so whenever he grants a buff, it raises the party attack. So I decided to give him that one, right? Hope and Ash are probably a little bit better than Desh for him, to be honest, because Desh, you have to stack it up, and it, like, if you're playing Kain right, he's actually not taking a lot of turns. You're trying to get him up in the air, and he's kind of floating for a while, but that's fine. I just threw that on there. I wanted a good full sphere on him, and I didn't feel like making a full Ash or a Hope sphere. I might change that later on, but D slot, pretty typical, just something that can increase the party attack in some way. So let's go ahead and let's hop into the showcase here. So we are going to hop into the Shinryu fight. I'm not going to talk as much about like how the actual force mechanic works. I actually just did a guide on that. So I'm going to just really focus on Kain and what he does. I'm not going to explain like how the force gauge is charging, what the force time is doing, none of that stuff. Unless it's relevant to me talking about like what Kain is doing specifically. So if you want to know more about like how the actual force gauge and stuff works, just go ahead and check out my other video on that. Okay, so we've got Kain up right away. And basically Kain, he's very simple to play. He has an overhead, you can see it's at 0. Basically when that overhead gets to 4, he can do like Freya where he just jumps up in the air, he's going to delay himself back, and then basically while he's up in the air, he'll follow up every action with an attack from his own. The thing that's really good about his follow-up attack up in the air is he doesn't lose brave when he does it. So he's going to put out really, really consistent damage. So what I usually start off with is I'll usually start off with the LD. So what the LD does, it's going to be a free instant turn, and it's going to give him 4 stacks of his overhead right out the gate. So you can see it's maxed out at 4. So then what he could do is he could jump up into the air. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll just jump up into the air. And now he's going to keep doing this lance from the air, and you'll notice his brave just stays capped out. So like he's going to be doing like really ridiculous consistent damage up there. This is really impactful during, say, a force time when you have a really high force multiplier. you can have Kain doing like 1 mil AoEs with that every action, which is pretty crazy, right? Sure, Garnet, we'll just do this. And then we'll do this. So I brought Penelo. Penelo is a really good force charging character. I'm going to talk more about that. I'm going to do a guide for her, probably record it right after this one. But I did bring Penelo just because in general she works well with Kain. So Kain pairs really, really well with like turn hoggers. Because the idea is you don't want Kain, when he's up in the air, you want to try to keep him up there. Now a couple of things to note about Kain being up in the air is, one, if his burst effect is up, which I didn't put it on yet, but if you put his burst effect on first, and like you could give him a call, call effects will still affect the party even though he's up in the air, and his burst effect will stay active while he's up in the air. The only thing that you can't do with Kain is like you can't buff him if he's already up in the air. So right now, like if I apply this Haste Rumba, that actually won't go on the Kain. He's going to basically dodge it. But what you can do is you can see a character like Penelo, she can just take like a million turns in a row. And then while she's doing that, she's not only charging the force gauge, but Kain is up there just beating him down. So like even though Penelo herself isn't doing damage, Kain is just sitting up there doing damage. So I'll just do this for a few cycles so you can see how Kain will just rain down. And then Garnet is also raining down damage, so that's kind of like the double whammy there, but we're just doing like lots of free damage, which is really nice, right? And then even Penelo's EX, which I really like, just free turn, free damage. And then Kain's going to top that off. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward now and get Kain another turn so we can actually look at more of his mechanics and what he does. What I'll probably do with Kain is I'll just show you like his burst setup and how you want to like do his burst. So we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, yep. Okay, Garnet will just do an attack to get to the next turn. We'll let the enemies take a couple of turns here. And we'll do that. Now, his skill 1 and skill 2 attacks, you don't really use that often. They're kind of just filler attacks. But the skill 2 does have some generic buffs that you might want to refresh. So, you, once in a while, will want to press that button. I think that you'd prioritize that first. Let's just do an attack here so we can get closer to Kain. I guess I could have brought Rem just so I could, like, bring him forward if I wanted to. Rem actually does combo decent with characters like Kain because you can use that turn manipulation to keep bringing forward the other character and trying to stay in front of Kain if you need to stall out turns. Rem can kind of work for that too. Okay. We'll do that and we'll do that. Okay. Nice. The nice thing about Shinryu though now is I don't have to worry about an orb just instantly killing me. So even if I'm not like dealing with the force mechanic, I can at least play enough to get showcases done. So this will actually be really nice. Alright, so Kain's back up again. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into his burst phase and I can like demo and show off his other skills. So typically before a burst phase, you want to use the LD first or have him at 4 stacks. So that right when you go into burst phase, you can use the jump right away. Okay, so we're going to do that. Okay, so now he's at 4 stacks. Now we'll go into burst phase. Okay. Oh, shoot, I did the burst attack. Okay, that's actually okay. I mean, having the burst attack up is really good, because then we'll have it during his burst phase. Alright, so we'll get him to another turn. I pressed that one out of habit. We'll just get to another turn with him really quick here. Let the enemies take their turns, that's fine. We'll just attack through. I know I had a free turn there, we'll skip it. Get this one going. Enemies met their threshold, so we're going to take some HP damage now, which is fine. And then Garnet will just sneak by and then get into Kain's effect here. Okay, so let's do this. That's fine. Alright, so let's go into the burst phase and then we can show them off. But really, like, the jumping mechanic is the main thing, right? And we're actually close enough to force time that I can probably demo that, like, when I come out. So let's go ahead and do actual burst phase. Okay, so in the burst phase, what you want to do is double jump right away. So now, what's going to happen is he's going to do a Lancet. And then since it's his turn, he's just going to jump down right away. And then he's just going to continue his turn. So it's just like a lot of damage. Like, it's a pretty good way to start off your burst and just get that damage off. Then what you can do is, since you just ate up your turns, you can just LD again right away. Okay. And then what you could do is you could jump up in the air again, or you could use skill 1 or skill 2. We'll use skill 2 here just to refresh our buffs. I haven't actually like used it yet. So yeah, we got a little generic attack buff there. And then we can go ahead and jump again. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll use the EX. Now, the EX I haven't talked about yet. The EX actually has a lot packed into it. So what the EX does is it initiates a launch, and then it will make that other unit you didn't target launchable. So you're going to get a second launch off on the next turn or whenever you want to attack it. It extends all of its buffs, and then it delays enemies one turn. So, and then like during the launch, it increases your damage during the launch as well. So this is a very good button to press. So you're going to see we are going to get a delay off of this. Okay, yep, and then we can attack through. You can see Kain is just burnt down on that poison. 2 hit points. It's a pretty nasty poison. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we're going to go ahead and use the force attack. So the force attack here, now because I'm in burst, the force attack actually won't initiate force time. Okay, but it does initiate a launch. And it's high turn rate. So like basically it's going to, or it's instant turn rate, I should say. So Kain would get an immediate turn. So when you enter force time, like you'll press it and then Kain will get another turn like immediately. Okay, so we'll let that go. And then we're going to do the burst attack. Kain just chilling at 1 HP, by the way. It's all good. It's because he doesn't have the regen, because Penelo, I haven't even used Penelo's regen, but normally you would want to maybe get that applied to him before you jump up in the air. Like if you're not going in the burst phase right away, I would usually do the green burst attack first, get that burst effect up, use any calls you want to use, and then get up in the air after that. Okay, so now Penelo's up. So Penelo, let's go ahead and we'll just use her deal here. This will actually heal. And then give us a free turn. Yep. And then we'll just launch away, that's fine. Got a little bit of healing. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll just get to Kain's turn again. And then since we have it, let's initiate a force time, just so you guys can all see that. What we'll do with Garnet here is we can Holy Prayer, because that's free, and that'll give us some fat healing. And then what I'll do is I'll just summon, and then we don't even have to worry about the enemy's turns right now. There we go. And then we'll just go ahead and summon phase. And then during the summon, we should still be able to initiate force time. Force time's a little bit more free than like a burst phase. So sure, let's just do this. Of course, Garnet taking a million turns here in a row, which I don't want. Just want to get to Kain. I guess I could have brought like a turn manipulation call or just brought Rem in the party, but that's fine. I normally do bring Rem to these showcases. I kind of just have this team set up right now. Because this is the team I'm going to use for my Shinryu run. This is the team I beat it with. Well, one of the teams I beat it with. I actually beat it with a couple different teams. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll initiate our force time. So we'll do the attack. You saw this during the burst phase already. Does all that same stuff. But now because we're in force time, it's going to freeze the enemy force gauge. We're going to get 10 turns of like basically ridiculous damage bonus. And that damage bonus is just going to keep increasing. Depending on your party, you can increase it more or less. But we'll just start off with a bang there. And then I didn't really talk about the 15 very much yet, but the 15 attack jump is more an AoE attack. And then the 35 is single target, but it has the generic buff on it. And then double jump is get Kain up in the air. So sure, let's get Kain up in the air. And then we can just like let his damage get really high during the force time here. So there he's already at like 600k AoE, which is pretty good, right? And then Garnet, have we used... No, Garnet already used her burst. Oh yeah, she has her burst effect up. Let's just go ahead and do the LD here. And then at this point, what I could do is I could spam turns with Penelo if I wanted to. So maybe, sure, let's spam a few turns here, and we'll just watch, like, every time we do actions, the force gauge, or not the force gauge, but the force damage is going to be going up. But it goes up more if you fulfill Kain's conditions, which are range damage and launching. So anytime you range damage or launch, so you can see we're getting an additional 5% just for Kain's follow-ups, right? So even if I do like a free turn here where Penelo doesn't attack, it went up 55% right there. So she charges that up huge. So Penelo, you can afford to do that here now. And just watch that gauge just go up huge. Yeah, we're over 1 mil damage, so we'll just let Penelo ride this out, and we'll just watch Kain's damage just, like, go to town here. So you can see whenever, just in general, you guys, when you see the attacks glowing blue, it means it's going to, like, really charge your bonuses and your gauge, like, really fast. So Penelo is just insane. So you can say even though Penelo's not like actually attacking for most of these, it's worth it to get that gauge up. And like if you're pairing Penelo with like 2 off turn, look at that 3 mil. 3 mil and then 1.4. I'm still not used to these Shinryu numbers, you guys. Like it's crazy. Like look how high we're just pushing this gauge. This is pretty wild. We're at 400% right now. Look at this damage, 1.6 mil AoE. So this is how you can just like nuke the enemies down. And that's why they have to have such huge HP pools, right? So we're going to keep doing these charge attacks with Kain up in the air. Look at our gauge just go crazy. 1.8 AoE. We got one more turn left of force time here. So something I might... Oh, I just realized this. I might do this during my Shinryu video. I just thought of something. So what I might do is like a very similar setup to this. We got 520% by the way, because Penelo charging like a boss. 1.8 AoE. Like you can see, we just nuked them down. So, sorry, I kind of diverted a little bit from Kain there, but I mean, we were showing off Kain. But what I might do is I might bring Bahamut summon, because then Penelo can just spam her EX throughout the summon and just do like ridiculous damage while charging like crazy. I might actually do that. So anyways, guys, there you go. That's Kain. He's a wild man. Very, very fun. Shinryu era shenanigans. Let me know if you have any other questions on Kain. If you have questions on force mechanics, check out my beginner's guide to force. I will link that in this video. If you still have questions, just hit me up in the comments or join my Discord. My Discord is linked in all my videos. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you all on the next one.